Hello, my name is Sip Mendes and welcome to Sip's Wood Chips. In my previous video we made some wheels. I showed you the little jig for making wheels 4 at a time, and I use those for toys. This time of year I make toys for Christmas, and so I've been making these little ducks, and I think they turned out really nice. And they all require 4 wheels. There's one, and here's another one. And they're striped ducks because the wood I used was already laminated. So those worked out pretty good. I want to thank everybody for subscribing and everybody for viewing the videos. It's been going pretty good lately. And that's always a pleasure to share time with you guys. What I wanted to talk about today was chisels. And this is a chisel that I bought in a garage sale. I went ahead and sanded off all of the rust as much as I could get. It looks like it was chrome plated at one time. It's still shiny in some places, but here you can tell that it's cracked and it's kind of scaly, and actually I really like that. It makes it look old and antique. And this is what's called a socket chisel. It has a place for a tapered tenon, and this tapered tenon just slides down in here, and as you tap it, it gets tighter and tighter. This one was very badly abused, you can tell. The handle is broken and split apart, and it was been hit with a hammer, and that ruined it. This is what's a butt chisel, and they're very short. They're good for getting into tight places. And they're mostly meant to be used with your hand. You push a chisel. There's several other types of chisels that we might as well talk about. And these are very old ones. These mostly belong to my father and my grandfather. This one's a 1/8 chisel. I'm sorry, this is a 1/4" chisel. About 4.6 millimeters. And it too is socketed. And that one's in good condition. It looks like it has some kind of special end on here. This is a 1/8. This is the 1/8 chisel. And some of these, I believe, this might be a mortising chisel. Usually the mortising chisels are wide and taper down so you can reach way down into the mortise and clean it out. This is a 1/2" chisel, and this one I made a new handle for it. It was missing the handle. This is the handle that was on there, and it was chipped and broken. And so I made a new one that's quite similar. I think those are quite similar. And this one's made of mesquite, really good hardwood. This is what's called a Contractors Chisel, and this is what you mostly find today. This is the chisel part here, and it has a shank, and I don't know if you can see it in there. You can actually, right down in there's a hole, and the handle is pushed over the shank, and this one has a steel cap, and the steel cap is so it's intended to be used with a hammer. And you don't use a hammer on wood handles. They'll just split apart, just like this one did. Calipers have a little depth gauge over here. It looks like a piece of wire, slides back and forth in and out. And you can push it in, slide this down till it touches the rim, and that tells you the depth. And so the depth on this one is 1 1/16, which is about 27 millimeters. The bottom, it's kind of hard to measure, but I found a little piece of 5/16 dowel rod, and that fits right down in the bottom of it. And so that is 5/16. 5/16 is right about 8 millimeters. And then the width across the top I can use these little points here and put them in there where they just enter, just barely enter. And those should be, I'll try it again. And that is a little bit over a ½ inch, so about 9/16. 9/16 is right about 15 millimeters. And that's, so I wrote down all my dimensions here, and this is what it's going to look like. It's going to be about 5/16, but I'm going to trim off about 1/8 of an inch when I get done. And to the top should be 9/16, about 1/8 from the shoulder. And this part I'll fit to my hand, but it looks like about 2 inches. So this one's beat up and it's about time to be replaced. So I think I can get some more use out of it by just making a new handle for it. So before you start any project, make sure you read, understand, and follow all the instructions that come with your power tools and equipment. Woodworking is fun, but it's important to work safely. So this is a piece of oak I had handy, and it's about 2 inches in diameter. This is my diagram, and according to my diagram, from the tip to the shoulder should be 1 3/16 long, or about 30 millimeters. Okay, so I'll mark off 1 3/16, and this doesn't have to be incredibly accurate. And then I'll mark off about 2½ inches for the grip. And it's going to be kind of oval shaped, or sometimes they call it a plum shape, like a Roma tomato is plum shaped, they say. So let me do that, and I'll just do that with a parting tool. So according to this, at this point it's going to be 9/16 in diameter, but I'm going to add an extra 16, so I'll make it 10/16, which is 5/8 in diameter. And then the tip, I will take that down to about 5/16. I'll add another 16 to about 3/8. So 3/8 and 5/8. And so I'll start with this one, and we'll set that at 3/8, and then go from there. Extra room here. So that's 5/8. Now I can remove a lot of the excess material, and I'll just use again my shallow gouge. switch to a 1/2 inch spindle gouge. So that's the basic shape of the handle. I might make it a little bit smaller so that it fits my hand a little bit better. Now the really important part here is making this tenon fit. So I'll do that next. I moved my speed up to 1280 RPM and I'm going to use a curved skew chisel. So I'm going to try to sneak up on this. That means I'm going to remove a lot less than what I know I should be moving, and then I'll remove more material as I get closer to the right size. So here's my my chisel, and as you can tell, it has a long way to go. So I'm only going to there, so that means I'm only that far down. Need to go quite a bit more. This is still closer to 3/8. So here I need to get closer to 5/16. But I think the angle is about right. It's looking better. So from here to here should be about 1 inch, and that's where I am, 1 inch. Okay, eventually I'm going to cut off. A little bit. I'm going to cut about 1/8 of an inch, or maybe a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch off this end. 9/16 where that little burnish mark is 9/16. That burnish mark should be up another 1/8 of an inch. So I'll take off a little bit more. That looks pretty good. Okay. So I can trim off a 1/16 or so at a time, and because I got to keep track of where the center is. And that is right about what I want. When I tap it in, it'll be right at 1/8 of an inch. Yeah, that's just about right. The shoulder doesn't need to be any thicker than the wall of the chisel. So I'll take that down a little bit and slim it down a little, and that should work. So all I need to do now is sand it, and I'll do that offline. Here's my sanded handle, and it looks pretty good. I like the grain in it. I'm going to prepare this to part it off, and what I usually do is I won't cut all the way through, and I won't cut right up against the end of the handle because sometimes I'll get a ring. So I'm going to leave a little extra, and then I'll sand it off and blend it in. So this whole part here, I will sand that off by hand and finish that up. Here's the handle all finished, and I'm going to rub it with a little bit of wax and linseed oil. And that should help bring out the color. And I'm just going to try to get a little bit of wax in here, just to color it. Otherwise it looks white and pale. Looks rather pale in there. So here's my finished chisel. I think it turned out well. That wax brings out the colors in the grain. You can see the striping and banding from the oak. And I really like this finish on the blade itself. It looks scaly and looks weathered and old, and that's what really gives it character. So if you've enjoyed this video, click on like. If you're not a subscriber, click on subscribe. If you're not a member of YouTube, sign up for an account. It's quick and easy. You can leave comments, ask questions, and get answers. And your comments are always welcome. So until next time, take care.